Hello, Kim Darrow again with the National Association of Black and White Men Together. So what we're going to talk about today is fix rural rage. In my last blog, I talked about rural resentment, which has become a central fact of American politics and support for the rise of right-wing extremism. I attributed this rural resentment to perceptions that rural areas are ignored by policymakers, they don't get a fair share of resources, and are disrespected by, quote, city folks. And then I read an article by Paul Krugman in the New York Times saying that all three perceptions are largely wrong. So I had to get back on and figure out that the truth is that ever since the New Deal, rural America has received special treatment from policymakers. It's not just farm subsidies, which ballooned under Donald Trump to the point where they were counted for around 40% of total farm income. Rural America also benefited from special programs that support housing, utilities, and businesses in general. In terms of resources, major federal programs disproportionately benefit rural areas, in part because such areas have a disproportionate number of seniors receiving Social Security and Medicare. Now, I'm a senior, and I think they should get these benefits. But at this point, rural Americans are more likely than urban Americans to be on Medicaid and receive food stamps. And because rural America is poorer than urban America, it pays much less per person in federal taxes. So, in practice, major metropolitan areas hugely subsidize the countryside. These subsidies just don't support incomes, they support economics. Government and the so-called healthcare and social assistance sector each employ more people in rural America than agriculture. What about rural perceptions of being disrespected? Well, there seems to be, however, an unwritten rule in American politics that it's okay for politicians to seek rural votes by insulting big cities and their residents, but it will be unforgivable for urban politicians to return the favor. So, ostensibly, justifications for rural resentment doesn't withstand scrutiny. But that doesn't mean things are fine. A changing economy has increasingly favored metropolitan areas with large college-educated workforces over small towns. The rural working-age population has been declining, leaving seniors behind. Rural men in their prime working years are much more likely than their metropolitan counterparts to be not working. Rural woes are real. So, the Republican Party would make things even worse, slashing the safety net programs these voters depend on. And Democrats shouldn't be afraid to point this out. The economic forces that have been hollowing out rural America are deep and not easily centered, but it's certainly worth trying. In 2019, for example, the federal government spent almost twice as much in Arkansas as it collected in Texas, providing the average Arkansas resident with $5,500 in aid. So even if Democratic policies greatly improve rural lives, will rural voters notice? Not likely. But the NABWMT will continue to fight for people at the margins. I want to thank you so much for listening to these podcasts and visiting us on our website, nabwmt@nabwnt.org. And we're on Facebook, and we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitters. Please like, comment, and subscribe to us on those platforms. Looking forward to talking to you and listening to you. Again, thank you so much.